Hey viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Rising Hero 2012. I'm going to do my first ever deck profile. Because it's my first one, I'm going to do it on my favourite archetype in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, Elemental Hero. And I'm going to do it on the top meta deck, Bubble Beat. So first up are the monsters. Here we go. First up, Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is a staple in any hero deck really. His effect, when he's normal summoned or special summoned, I can select and activate one of two effects. I can destroy spell and trap cards on the field up to the number of hero monsters I control, but not counting himself. Next up, his next effect, is I can add a hero monster from my deck to my hand. He's also a wind attribute, so I can use him to fuse for the Great Tornado. He's a level 4 warrior, meaning I can overlay him to Ixie summon Blade Armor Ninja. He's 1800 attack and 300 defense. Next up is the main guy of the deck, Elemental Hero Bubbleman. Bubbleman's main purpose is to get him to be the only card in your hand, special summon him, and because he's a level 4 warrior, I can overlay for Blade Armor Ninja. He's also a water attribute, so I can fuse him for E-Hero 0. Next up is the utility guy, 3 Neo Salius. I call him the utility guy because he has several purposes in the deck. His first one being he combines well with Gemini Spark and Hero Blast. He's a light attribute, so I can use him to fuse into the Shining, the key fusion monster of the deck. And he's a level 4 warrior, which means he can overlay for Blade Armor Ninja. He's also a 1900 beat stick, so he's really cool. Next up is a substitute card. This next card should be Evocator Chevalier. But I haven't got one yet, so I'm having to go E-Hero Heat. I chose Heat because he's primarily a fire target for Nova Master. He is a level 4, and this deck spams a lot of rank 4s. He's got a nice effect. For each face-up E-Hero I control, he gains 200 attack. That includes himself, so he's effectively an 1800 monster as soon as you play him. The only problems I have with Heat is he's not a warrior type monster, so you can't overlay for Blade Armor Ninja, and you cannot search him through Rota. Next up is Photon Thrasher. Photon Thrasher is basically a level 4 Cyber Dragon, but you can special summon him providing you control no monsters. It doesn't matter how many your opponent controls, he can special summon himself. The downside is, if you control another monster, he cannot attack, but he is a 2-1 beat stick, and he's also a light attribute, so he's another material for the Shining. And he's also a level 4 warrior, meaning again you can overlay for Blade Armor Ninja. So there's the monsters. Next up are the spells. I'm not going to explain these too much because you should know what they do. First up, 3 Miracle Fusion. Stupid glare. Basically the only fusion card I run in the deck. Banish 2 heroes from the field or the grave and summon 1 from the extra deck. Next up is the search cards. E-Emergency Call, Add an E-Hero from your deck to your hand. Rota, add a level 4 or lower warrior type monster from your deck to your hand. 3 Gemini Spark, you tribute off Neo Salius or Evocator Chevalier when I eventually get one. Select a card and destroy it on the field, and draw 1 card. Next up is Pot of Duality. I run 3 for consistency. You run a lot of search in the deck because you only run 10 monsters, so you can pull off Bullman's effect easier. Next up, the staples, Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, and I run 2 MST because my local meta is a little bit behind. Next up is the traps. Hero Blast. I wasn't a fan of this trap to begin with because every time I drew it I'd always banished Neo Salius, but it is a +1. I target 1 E-Hero normal monster in my graveyard and add that target to my hand, then destroy 1 face-up monster my opponent controls with attack less than or equal to the target's attack. So they summon their Rescue Rabbit, activate it, they don't get their effect. They summon their Tour Guide, activate Hero Blast, blow up their Tour Guide, no Zenmaines or Leviathan for them. It is a +1 and I've started running it, so hopefully it works out well. Next up, staple traps, basically Torrential Tribute 2. I run a Mirror Force. I'm still a fan of that trap. I know a lot of people have dropped it, but I like it. I run the Solemn Brigade. And then 2 Bottomless Trap Hole for Dino Rabbit. I banish my rabbit, bring out 2 Cabazor, 2 Sabersaurus, I activate that, bye bye. I run 1 compulsory. I like this trap, very flexible, and I basically just had room for 1 more trap, and I decided to put that in. It's been in every deck I've run. So then the final one, you do set a lot of back row, so Starlight Road. Onto the extra deck. The main hero of the deck, the Shining, gains 300 attack for each banished hero monster, E-hero monster, sorry, and when it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add 2 of your banished heroes back to your hand. Next up, 2 E-hero Zero, gains 500 attack for each water monster that on the field that hasn't got his name, and when he's removed from the field, destroy all monsters your opponent controls. I run 1 Gaia. He's in there just in case if I will always be siding Super Poly, so if I come across an Earth deck, I'll snatch their monsters. 1 Great Tornado, halve the attack and defense of all face-up monsters your opponent controls when this card is summoned. 2 Nova Master, good side for good to Super Poly with Dino Rabbit. And when he destroys a monster by battle, you can draw a card, which is always nice. Then the main Ixie of the deck, Blade Armor Ninja. Detach an Ixie material, attack twice, rank 4, and he takes 2 level 4 warrior type monsters to make him, 2 to attack, 1000 defense. Then Utopia, Photon Papillo Operative. I've been coming across a lot of Spirit Reaper and Marshmallow just recently, so this is a nice card. Say if you can spam 2 rank 4 Ixies, with Blade Armor Ninja, go this, detach an Ixie material, change their Marshmallow into attack mode. It loses 600 attack, which effectively puts it on 0. You can attack for something like 6-5, I believe. Or, yeah, 6-5, I think I worked that out right. Then Mace Drake the Djinn, nice defensive option. I don't really summon him, but he's a nice defensive option. He's a dark attribute, so eventually when Esquire is released in August, you can use him for the material. And then Stardust Dragon, because you're on the Starlight Road. So I hope you've enjoyed that, guys. It's been my first one. So feel free to comment, try to keep them constructive. Any advice would be nice, and like and subscribe. Thank you.